So a couple of days ago on the channel, we talked about some Nintendo Switch 2022 game leaks that were starting to make their rounds on the internet. A lot of people were talking about them, websites were covering them, and I decided to talk about them because, well, I wasn't quite so sure how I felt about it. I didn't necessarily think these were leaks at all. I thought they were more just rumors and sort of speculation with nothing really backing them. But because of the fact that many people and websites were starting to talk about it, I decided to talk about it to sort of give you guys a different perspective. Well, now we have another situation going on with a Nintendo Direct related leak for the month of September. Now, according to these leaks, there's going to be a Nintendo Direct in the month of September, and once again, a lot of websites are starting to pick up on this information, and a lot of YouTubers. So, once again, I want to give my opinion on this and give you guys some sort of backstory, and maybe as to why you shouldn't buy into these leaks completely. So if this is your first time on the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, be sure to like and share the video. But without any further ado, let's talk about these leaks and see what I think about them. So the source of this information comes to us from yet another Twitter account, which seems to be a common place for this sort of information. Now, this information is coming to us from a Twitter user by the name of Samus Hunter 2 with the tagline, Samus Hunter Nintendo Leak Inside. So definitely very confident in what they're talking about. And like I said, this information has started to pick up on different websites and different YouTubers are talking about it. And I just want to give sort of my opinions and my thoughts on this potential information because, like I said, I might kind of view it differently than some other people do. So a couple days ago, this Twitter account made the following statements about some Nintendo related direct information for the month of September. After teasing this in a couple posts, I'm going to talk about it more clearly. Yes, there is a Nintendo Direct scheduled for September around the time WarioWare launches. It is useless to make a list of games, passing them off as certain because in fact I still have nothing in hand. It's too early. But crossing some data, I can tell you things that I see very likely. Surely the focus game will be Metroid Dread with Advance Wars, and Mario Party will have sections dedicated to some new features. So a Nintendo Direct in the month of September. Now that's something I have heard off the record, but that's also something that you could just sort of chalk up to, circumstance. Like, when was the last time Nintendo went through the month of September and didn't have a Nintendo Direct or something of that nature? Obviously, they do their Nintendo Direct in the month of June, usually around E3 time or during E3. Last year, of course, was a little bit different, but we already got a Nintendo Direct in the month of June, and we learned about games coming out in the holiday season. But since then, it's been kind of quiet on those games as far as the features and what you're going to be doing in those games are concerned. So I think it makes sense to say that, yeah, there's probably going to be a Nintendo Direct in the month of September. I don't really consider this a leak or anything like that. I just consider it sort of common sense if Nintendo wants to talk about their games that they are releasing this holiday season. There are also several major updates planned, the aforementioned Animal Crossing, the reveal of the latest character in Smash, and the DLC with the new story of Hyrule Warriors. Third parties will also play an important role. Capcom has to reveal a Resident Evil for the Switch. Now, once again, is it really crazy to think that an Animal Crossing update will be at this alleged Nintendo Direct in the month of September? No, we already know that there is an Animal Crossing update coming out. Nintendo has said that there's going to be a large update before the year's end. So that's not really a leak. That's not really a prediction. That's just repeating what Nintendo themselves said. Of course, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity is going to have more DLC. We already know that. There's already a season pass available for it. We've already gotten some of this DLC already. So that, once again, is not really a leak or a prediction. It's just what Nintendo themselves said. I will say the more interesting thing is the Capcom and Resident Evil situation. I don't think they have to talk about a Resident Evil or anything like that, but that is something that has been heavily rumored. This isn't really new information or anything like that. We have heard that Capcom is working on a Resident Evil, specifically with the Nintendo Switch as the lead platform in mind. Many people are saying it's Resident Evil Revelations 3. Many people are saying this is stemming from the Capcom leaks that, of course, happened where people hacked into Capcom and got a bunch of information. So this isn't a leak. This isn't new information. This isn't stuff that we don't already know about. It's stuff that we've been talking about for a couple months already. So, does Capcom have to do it? Does the game have to come out this year? I don't necessarily think so. I think it could potentially be a 2022 title because of the development cycle of the game. Plus, we haven't seen the game yet, and Capcom usually likes to do a little bit of a runway. Look at a game like Monster Hunter Rise. Monster Hunter Rise was, of course, talked about at the end of 2020, and it came out early in 2021. So I think that's sort of more probable than this situation with a Resident Evil coming out on the Nintendo Switch in 2021. If plans for Splatoon 3 don't change, marketing for the title should begin around that time. I doubt any news about the Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel other than a small notice that we'll see in a couple months. A new announcement, a Kirby project is very likely. Okay, we know Splatoon 3 is a game. We know it's scheduled to release in 2022. This isn't groundbreaking information. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, whatever the hell they're gonna call it, we know it's a 2022 game. Could they potentially talk about it at this event? I mean, maybe. And a new Kirby game. Well, I thought the new Kirby game was supposed to be at E3. Of course, E3 came and went, and we didn't get a new Kirby game, but this is actually something we'll touch on a little bit later in the video. But yeah, supposedly there's going to be a Kirby game announced at this thing. Once again, we already know that a Kirby game is in development. HAL Laboratories have already said that they're working on a Kirby game, so this isn't new information. Bayonetta 3, which I've already mentioned, should also be in a similar situation. There are other titles well underway as well, but those are planned at a generic 2022 or later. I repeat, at the moment, the new announcements are my guess from some of the data in my possession. It is too early at the moment to pass them as confirmed for that presentation. In closing, however, I can tell you that Nintendo is also working on the next Indie World schedule before that. Bayonetta 3, a game that we know about. A game that we know exists, a game that we know is going to be coming to the Nintendo Switch at some point in time, could potentially be at this Nintendo Direct that's happening in September. Like, this isn't a leak, this is common information. We know that this game exists. Could it appear at this event? Sure, it could have appeared at E3 as well. I mean, a lot of people expected that game to be at E3 potentially if it was a 2021 release. Now that E3 is come and gone, we don't really expect it to be a 2021 release, potentially a 2022 release. It's just like, these are just guesses based on information that we already know leading up to these things. Generic 2022 titles. Whoopity-doo, Nintendo's making games in 2022. I am shocked and surprised at this information. This is huge stuff. An Indie World happening before this Nintendo Direct. That always happens. That always happens. This is not groundbreaking information. I could have made these same sort of predictions and passed them off as leaks, but like, it's just sort of commonplace. It's sort of known that an Indie World presentation will more than likely happen before the year's end because they have games to talk about and they have games to showcase. And then usually after an Indie World presentation, you get a Nintendo Direct of some sort. Is it a Nintendo Direct Mini, a full-on Nintendo Direct? We don't know, but I mean, really, those whole mini and full-on Directs, the only difference is the length of them. I think the Nintendo Direct Mini that we got last September was fantastic. So, you know, once again, there is one final thing with this, saying that I forgot to mention, I heard rumors on some news site about a Microsoft collaboration for something. If something really happened, this would be the best occasion. Once again, how many years have we been talking about Nintendo and Microsoft working on stuff together? Obviously, they have a working relationship. Obviously, they have done stuff before in the past, you know, minimal stuff, games like, of course, Ori coming to the Nintendo Switch, but like, this isn't new. This isn't new and for groundbreaking information that websites need to talk about this and YouTubers need to be covering all this stuff. But what is my problem with this situation? Obviously, these are all very safe bets, I feel, you know, no harm, no foul. So should we believe in this stuff? Should we not believe in this stuff? I kind of want to end this video with something that I saw on Samus Hunter's Twitter before E3 happened. Essentially, there was a bingo card. Now, if I'm a leaker, if I'm a big insider, I'm going to put things on this bingo card that I know are going to happen so that I look good and I know what I'm talking about. Now, obviously, you could play it off as, well, these are just things I sort of expect, but still, if you're an insider, a leaker, or something like that, you would probably know what was going to happen at this event. Now, no new Switch model. I mean, Nintendo themselves said that. Update for Animal Crossing. Pokemon small recap. Kirby. No. 2 Smash Brothers characters. No, we only got 1. Bayonetta 3. Nope. Ubisoft. I mean, they did their own thing. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. Donkey Kong. Nope. Fire Emblem. Nope. Breath of the Wild 2. Surprise, surprise. A new WarioWare game. Okay, good job. Remakes. I didn't see any remakes. Other Zelda themed events. I mean, you got the little Game & Watch thing. A Nintendo sequel only few expected. That's very generic. I can't even read that other thing. I think it's Monolith Soft. They weren't there. Shin Megami Tensei 5, of course. Splatoon 3, okay. Fortnite, Samus, nope. Project Triangle Strategy, nope. New Nintendo IP, nothing that comes to mind. A new 2D Metroid title, everyone knew that. An Impossible Port now real. And no Mario Kart 9. So what am I saying with all this? What do I think about these leaks when it comes to Nintendo doing a Direct for the month of September? I fully believe Nintendo is going to do a Direct in the month of September. I don't think that Direct is fully planned out as far as games are concerned, just because you can look from day to day, week to week, and see how games are always shifting their development cycle, how games are shifting their release cycle. So it's something to be written in stone and concrete, you know, that's not a thing. Would this Nintendo Direct have stuff on Metroid and Advance Wars and the Mario Party game? I mean, of course it would, because those are the games that are coming out this holiday season. All the other stuff is just sort of common sense. You know, Splatoon 3, maybe they'll talk about Splatoon 3. I mean, maybe it is a 2022 game. You tend to talk about games before they come out. The Capcom Resident Evil thing, that's something we've heard before as well. You know, a new Smash Brothers character, like, you know, no shit. Like, I don't know. I just think it's weird that a lot of these websites and a lot of other YouTubers are picking this story up and taking it as like fact and like running with it like this is some groundbreaking stuff, because to me, and probably to you guys, this is all just sort of common information. A Nintendo Direct in the month of September probably will happen. It usually does. Will it have talk about the games that are coming out for the rest of the year? I mean, more than likely. What else are they going to talk about? So I just wanted to bring a different perspective to this. I just wanted to talk about this in a more casual manner and see what you guys feel about this. Do you believe these leaks, or do you think that, hey, you know, this is just sort of common sense, you know, anyone could throw shit at the wall and something will eventually stick? And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, be sure to like and share the video as well. Check out other videos on the channel, maybe take a look at that Nintendo Switch games for 2022 video I did a couple days ago on the channel to sort of get some perspective where I'm coming from with this information. And as always, I will catch you guys on the next video. Later.